Welcome back to our class. Lesson 3 is about the types and the uses of English verb tenses. What are verb tenses? English verb tenses tell us how an action is related to a certain period of time. English has three main verb tenses, mainly the present, the past, and the future tenses. These main tenses are further divided into four aspects. We have the simple aspect, the progressive or continuous aspect, the perfect aspect, and the perfect progressive or perfect continuous aspect. Overall, the English language has 12 verb tenses. What you see in this slide is the chart of the 12 English verb tenses. In this slide, you can see the formula for each tense. These formula can help you to structure or to arrange the verbs so that they will have the correct form. It is highly recommended that if you are not yet familiar with different verb tenses in English, to have a copy of this chart. Now, in the previous chart, you have seen the terms second form and third form. What do these second form and third forms mean? Do you still remember in high school or junior high school, or perhaps when you were in elementary, the chart that your English teacher asked you to memorize? Okay. In that verb chart, you were shown the present form, the past form, and the past participle forms of one verb. For example, the present form of the verb beg, or the V1 form of the verb beg, is beg. If the formula would ask you to use the second form, or the V2 of the verb beg, then you should use the begged form, begged. If the formula in the chart asks you to use the third form, or the V3 form of a verb, specifically the verb beg, then you will have to use begged. Okay, I hope that you're getting that. Now, say for example, the verb is fly. If the formula would ask you to use V2 or the second form, okay, second form or V2 of the verb fly, then you should use flew. If in the formula it is required that you use the third form or the V3 form of the verb fly, then you should use the past participle form of that verb, which is flown. Okay, so in the previous slide, I actually explained in brief how these two charts work together to help you formulate the different tenses of English verbs. Now, to further explain how these two charts work, I have here 5 examples. Okay? Now, assuming in a quiz, I would ask you to transform the verb get into its past progressive form. And we are supposed to assume that in that sentence, the subject is plural. So how do we do it? How do we formulate the past progressive form of get? First, we look at the formula here in this chart. Okay, past progressive. Remember that progressive is the same as continuous. So past continuous or past progressive. So there you go. This is the formula that you need to use to structure the past progressive form of the verb get. Okay. Does the formula instruct you to use the second or the third form of the verb? No, not at all. So meaning to say, you don't need to use this chart. Okay? Because the formula in structuring the past progressive form of the verb is to simply use either was or were plus verb, and then you simply attach ing to that verb. Actually, that is a clue. If the verb is continuous or progressive, the verb is always ending in ing. Always remember that. Continuous or progressive verbs always end in ing. Okay? So, past progressive, we use either was or were. Question is, which of the two should we use? Is it was or were? Now, the answer to that question will be depending on the number of the subject. According to the item, we are to assume that the subject is plural. So if your subject is plural, then therefore the verb should also be in its plural form. So which of the two is plural? Was or were? Obviously, the answer is were. So your answer is were, then verb, simply add ing. So the past progressive form of the verb get is were getting. That is if your subject is plural. Next, number 2. Okay, the verb is built and you are expected to transform it into its present perfect progressive form, and we are to assume that the subject is singular. Now first, let us take a look at this chart and let's look for the formula in structuring the present perfect progressive. So present perfect progressive, this is the formula. The formula doesn't require us to look at either the second or the third form of the verb. So hindi raw kailangan yung second or third form of the verb. So we don't have to look at this chart. We simply need to follow this formula. So we use either have or has plus been plus verb, and since it is a progressive tense, expectedly the verb should end with ing. So which of the two should we use? Have or has? Which of the two auxiliary verbs? It will be depending on the number of the subject. According to item number 2, your subject is singular, so therefore the auxiliary verb should also be singular. And which between the two, have or has, is singular? Obviously, it is has. So the answer is has been building. So the present perfect progressive form of build is has been building if the subject in the sentence is singular. Next, item number 3. The verb is be, and you are supposed to convert it into its simple past form, and you are to assume that the subject is plural. Now let's take a look at the chart again. Simple past form. So this is the formula. And according to the formula, you are supposed to look at the second form of the given verb. So we need to use this chart. Let's find the verb be. Here is the verb be. And according to the formula, you are supposed to use the second form of that verb. This is the second form, or these rather are the second forms of the verb be. The possible options are, or the possible answers are, was and were. But of course, you cannot give these two as your answers because it is stated here that the subject is plural. So if your subject is plural, then your verb should also be plural. So which of the two is plural? Is it was or were? The answer is obviously were. Okay, so the simple past form of be if the subject is plural is were. Number 4, if your verb is fly and you are supposed to transform it into its future perfect progressive form, assuming that the subject is plural, then, okay, let's look at the chart. Future perfect progressive. So this is your formula. Will have been plus verb and then end it with or end it in ing. Okay. Does it tell you to look at the second chart for the second or third forms? No, it doesn't. So you will be only using this chart. So you use the auxiliary verb will plus have plus been, then the verb, and end it in ing. Does this information or does this detail have an effect on the tense of the verb? No. Okay, it doesn't have an effect on the tense of the verb. You don't have to change have into has if it is singular. Okay, I repeat if say for example the subject here is singular in number, you are not going to change have into has. This formula is standard. This is always the formula for the future perfect progressive tense. Okay, unlike the other formula that will require you to choose between the auxiliaries, this one is the standard formula. Okay, so parang in short, this one is pampagulo. Okay, its purpose is to simply check if you really understand how the chart works. Next, last item. Supposing that your verb is begin and you are supposed to transform it into its past perfect tense. Okay, and it says here that your subject is singular. Let's see if this one is supposed to be taken seriously as well. Okay, let's look at the chart. Okay, past perfect tense. So this is the formula. Are you asked to look at the second chart? Yes, because according to the formula, you are supposed to be using the third form or the past participle form of the given verb. Now let us use the second chart and let's look for the verb begin. Here is the verb begin. Okay, so we are supposed to use its third form. The third form or the past participle form of begin is begun. Okay, so, and as you can see here, you are not supposed to, you don't have options, okay? It is standard that you only use had, okay, regardless of the number of subject. So regardless of the number of subject, it is stated in the formula that you are supposed to use only had. So to convert begin to its past perfect tense, you simply use had and the third form or the past participle form of the verb begin, which is begun. So the correct answer is had begun. So I hope that through the examples, you now understand better how to formulate the tenses of verbs. Now that you know how to form the different English verb tenses, let us discuss the uses of these tenses so that when you write and when you speak in English, your sentences would sound or appear grammatical, and when you use more complex structures or forms, you would also give the impression that your level of proficiency is advanced. Now in this slide, we will talk about the simple tenses, the simple present tense, the simple past tense, and the simple future tense. The simple present tense is used to express first a fact. Okay, example, the sky is blue. Okay, so what else? Can you think of another example of a fact? And then in the sentence, we use the simple present tense of a verb. Okay, one example I'm thinking of is the sun sets in the west. Okay, so that occurrence is a fact, therefore I used the verb sets. Next, letter B. The simple present tense is also used to talk about a present action or situation. Example, he loves her now. The word now is a clear indicator that the action is at the moment true or happening. Next, number or letter C. The simple present tense is also used to talk about a habit. Okay, I drive to work every day. This time expression is an indicator that this action is habitual. Now, why are we using the plural form of the verb drive instead of its singular form when the pronoun or the subject is singular? It is because I is a singular first person pronoun, and we do not use the S form or the singular form of verbs when our subject is a singular first person pronoun. We only use the S form of verbs or of any verb if we have a third person singular pronoun as a subject. Letter D. The simple present tense is also used to express a certain future action. For example, she leaves for Japan tomorrow. Now, this action is certain to happen in the future, so you may also use a simple present tense. Now, this may be new to you, but this is actually a function of the simple present tense. Number 2, the simple past tense. It is applied when we talk about an action that already happened, okay, an action that took place in the past. Most verbs in the past tense contain an added D or ed after its base or regular form, while some verbs change in their spelling. These verbs are called irregular verbs. Example sentence, he loved her. So this action happened in the past. Can you think of an example of an irregular verb? Okay, the example given in one of the slides is the verb fly. Okay, fly changes its spelling when we turn it into its past form. The past form of fly is flew. Its past participle form is flown. Number 3, the simple future tense indicates an action that is bound to happen. Okay, an action that will take place in the future. It usually employs the words or the auxiliary or helping verbs will and shall to emphasize that it is still going to happen in the future. Example, he will love her someday. So this action is not currently true or is not currently happening, nor did it happen in the past. The presence of the auxiliary verb will is a signal that it is bound to happen in the future. The next set of verbs are those in the progressive or continuous tenses. Okay, we will be talking about the uses of the present progressive tense, the past progressive tense, and the future progressive tense. Remember that the progressive or the continuous tenses are those that end with ing. The present progressive tense conveys events that are happening now or are currently in progress. Here, the helping verbs or the auxiliary verbs that are added include the words is, am, and are. Example sentence, we are listening to the lecture now. This action is currently in progress That is why the verb is in this structure or form. Next, the past progressive form or tense tells us an action that lasted a specific time duration in the past. It is used when you are as if recalling something that you were doing in the past. Example, I was listening to the lecture. Okay, so this action, okay, indicates an action that lasted a specific time duration in the past. Third, the future progressive tense is used to indicate an event that will be happening sometime in the future. It uses the helping verbs will be and shall be before the main verb. Example, I will be listening to the lecture at that moment. So this is an action that will be taking place sometime in the future. Okay, so pag sinabing main verb, okay, the main verb here is listening, while will be are auxiliary verbs. Next are the perfect tenses. We will now discuss the uses of the present perfect tense, the past perfect tense, and the future perfect tense. Keep in mind that the perfect tenses always express completed actions. Okay, completed actions in the past or the future. A clue to identify the perfect tenses are the auxiliary verbs has, have, and had. Now, when you see those auxiliary verbs has, have, and had, automatically the tense is perfect. Number 1, the present perfect tense is used to express an activity that was done in an indefinite time in the past. Example sentence, I have seen this place before. The verb have seen indicates an action that occurred in the past, but the time is indefinite. Okay? Letter B. An event that started in the past and is being continued still in the present. Example sentence, she has played the piano since she was 5. The verb has played signals the action of playing that started in the past and is still continued currently or in the present. Okay? Next, number 2. The past perfect tense describes an event that has already been completed before another event in the past. Okay? So, in this tense, okay, we use it to describe the first action that took place in the past before another past action happened. So, dalawa ang actions, and these two actions happened in the past. We use the past perfect tense to describe which of the two past actions happened first. Example sentence. The man had already rescued the kitten when the officers came. So this occurrence or this event took place in the past. And during that moment, two actions happened. In order for us to describe which of the two actions happened first or was completed first, we use the past perfect tense. So, we have here the verb had rescued. The use of the auxiliary verb had signals that this one is in the past perfect tense. And the past perfect tense is a clear indicator that this action happened first before the arrival of the officers. Okay? So, you might be wondering why the word already is not in red. It's because already is an adverb. Now, keep in mind that sometimes an adverb comes between the auxiliary verb and the main verb. Now, when you use the past perfect tense to describe the first past action, the second past action should be in its simple past tense. I repeat, simple past tense. Second example, the plane had left by the time I got to the airport. So which of the two past actions happened or was completed first? Obviously, it is this verb, had left. Okay, this was completed first before another past action happened. Okay, this is the past perfect form of the verb leave. Well, this is the simple past form of the verb get. Okay, don't forget, the verb that comes after the verb that is in the past perfect tense should be in its simple past form. Next, the future perfect tense. It is not used usually. It's not commonly used. That is why it may sound or look confusing when you first encounter it. It is used to say that an event is going to get completed before another event in the future. It is like predicting that something will be finished first before another future event or action. The future action must have a deadline. Example sentences. Okay, first one, the performance will have ended by the time, this is the deadline, by the time you finish your food. So, if we are talking about two past actions in this tense, okay, when we use the past perfect tense, we are describing one past action and then another past action. In the future perfect tense, we are talking about two future actions. But the use of the future perfect tense will signal which of the two future actions would be completed first. Okay? You are assuming sino o ang alin ang mauunang mako-complete na action. Okay. In this example sentence, the ending of the performance is predicted to be the first action to be completed. Okay. While the finishing of food would be finished right after it. Okay, will be completed right after this. Okay. Now, when you use the future perfect tense, make sure that the next verb should be in its simple present tense. Simple present tense. Okay. So we have here you. So the verb simple present form of finish should be finished because this is plural. Well, for this example sentence, the students will have finished the quiz before the teacher returns. Teacher is singular, so returns should also be in its singular form. And which of the two is assumed or predicted to happen or to be completed first? Ito, yan. It is assumed or predicted to be completed first before this next future action. The last set of verbs are those in the perfect progressive tenses. These tenses simply express the duration or they describe how long an action is being done. These tenses usually include the adverbs for and since. Okay? First tense in the perfect progressive aspect, the present perfect progressive tense. It is used to express an event that started in the past but is still continuing at the present time. Example, she has been waiting since, see, last year. Okay, so it means that the action of waiting started in the past, but it still is continuing at the present time. Number two, okay, the past perfect progressive tense describes an action that also started in the past and continued up until another time in the past. Okay, this tense is actually interchangeable with the past perfect tense. Okay, but you use this tense to simply express the duration. You just want to emphasize on the duration or you want to describe how long an action was done in the past. Okay, example, the man had been feeling sick for 3 years before he got treated. Okay, just like in the formula of the past perfect tense, the next verb after the perfect perfect progressive form should be in its simple past form. Simple past form. Look at the other example. This verb is also in its simple past form. Okay. The action of feeling sick here is signaled to be something that occurred in the past. Okay. And it continued still up until another time in the past. Next example, the man had been trying to rescue the kitten when the officers came. Do you remember this example? It's in the example in the previous slide. So it means here, okay, what we are seeing here is the verb or the action of trying to rescue the kitten. So it means to say this action of trying, okay, started in the past and it continued up until the arrival of the officers. Yeah. Next, the future perfect progressive tense. This one is used to describe an action which may have started either in the past, present, or future, and is expected to continue in the future. Example, the guy will have been feeling sick for 3 years by the time he undergoes the operation. So it means to say, okay, the use of the future perfect progressive tense here, okay, is simply for the purpose of describing an action which is expected to continue still in the future. Okay? Kung kailan siya nag-start, the activity or the action of feeling sick, it's not indicated. But ang sinasabi dito, still in the future, the person will still be feeling sick, will have been feeling sick, and this action started maybe in the past, at present, okay, or in the future. But what the verb is trying to say here is that the person will have been feeling sick. It's continued even up to the future, okay, before, okay, or by the time he undergoes the operation. Now, when you use this formula, the next verb should be in its simple present tense. He and then undergoes. Now, here is a table from the internet of all the 12 English tenses. You may take a screenshot of this particular slide and have the screenshot printed so that you will have a copy of the 12 English tenses, and this particular table will also serve as your guide in memorizing the uses of each tense. Okay, so aside from the uses of the tenses, there are also example sentences. If you want to read more about the 12 English verb tenses, you may visit these websites. This is the end of the presentation. I hope that you enjoy the lecture. If you have questions, you may send me a message. Thank you for listening.